Do the three companies that manufacture abortion pills care even a little about women's health and safety? Why is election season in Alaska shaping up to be so weird? And what happened when a surrogate mother faced her baby's legal parents in court? We'll tackle all of these topics on tonight's edition of ProLife NewsBreak. Today is Friday, August 28th. I'm Leslie Palma. Thanks for joining me. West is a nurse from Alaska with two children of her own who was hired by Nausheen Gilkar and Omar Ahmed to carry their child after several rounds of IVF failed for the couple. When the 20-week sonogram revealed a serious heart defect in the baby, the couple invoked a clause in the contract calling for abortion. West initially agreed, but then changed her mind, fleeing to Texas where laws protect babies from abortion. She gave birth August 12th, and as soon as the umbilical cord was cut, the baby was taken away from her and given to the couple. He underwent his first surgery within days of his birth. West wants to be named the sole conservator of the baby so she can ensure he gets the continuing medical treatment he will need. But the couple want custody and say West is unstable. "He's our child," Gilkar said on the witness stand. "She's trying to take him away from us." No word on when the judge will decide this case that calls to mind the dilemma facing King Solomon and underscores pro-lifers' conviction that surrogacy should be outlawed. Louisiana Senator Bill Cassidy is calling on the FDA to crack down on the three companies that manufacture the deadly abortion drug mifepristone. Cassidy yesterday released a 300-page report detailing the business practices of Danco Laboratories, GenBioPro, and Evita Solutions, finding that the three companies, whose sole product is mifepristone, do not know if online distributors who buy and sell the pills are following FDA requirements, are selling only to pregnant women and not their reluctant husbands or boyfriends, and are paying attention to gestational cutoffs for legal use of the drug. "We are seeing that the explosion in online sales of chemical abortion drugs has opened the door to coercion and abuse of women," Cassidy said in a statement. The study, titled Mifepristone Without Guardrails, was performed at the behest of the Senate Committee on Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions, which Cassidy chairs. It pointed out that the three companies are, quote, uniquely obscure, and that their leadership and even their corporate addresses are not publicly disclosed. All three manufacture the drug outside the United States, including sites in India, China, and Spain. Cassidy, who will not be returning to the Senate in January, wants the Justice Department to explore legal avenues to address the company's failure to comply with safety requirements and has called on the FDA to immediately reinstate in-person prescribing requirements. A pro-life amendment that would repeal the pro-abortion amendment passed in 2024 in Missouri has brought together a coalition of abortion advocates and labor unions who together have pledged to spend $1 million to defeat the amendment. And in Idaho, abortion advocates are suing over wording of the pro-abortion amendment voters will see on their ballots this fall. Idahoans United for Women and Families claims the wording is confusing and misleading. The dispute will have to be settled quickly, as ballots have to be mailed to military and overseas voters by about September 18th. Voters in Virginia and Nevada also will vote on pro-abortion amendments. A Planned Parenthood executive who was fired for blowing the whistle about an illegal abortion is suing the nation's leading abortion seller. Jacqueline Collier was vice president of human resources for Planned Parenthood Great Rivers in Illinois when she reported that an illegal abortion had taken place after hours in the basement of a Planned Parenthood facility in Fairview Heights. The case began on a Sunday in 2022 when another employee received a phone call at about 7 p.m. telling her to go to the abortion mill to unlock the door for abortionist Colleen McNicholas. Once inside, McNicholas allegedly performed an abortion for a mother who was 28 weeks pregnant, a week later than that facility regularly performed abortions. The employee who unlocked the door reported the situation to her supervisor, who reported it to Collier, who in 2024 phoned in an anonymous tip. Planned Parenthood policy required employees to report illegal activity and promised they would be protected from retribution. Instead, within 2 months, Collier was disciplined for the first time in her career and then fired. Collier has filed a wrongful termination suit in federal district court in Missouri. A federal judge in Idaho who ruled earlier this month that exceptions to the state's law protecting babies from abortion must be expanded to include the health of the mother has narrowed that ruling. Now, only the Boise doctor who challenged the law can perform abortions if he believes a mother's physical and mental health would be impaired. Other doctors in Idaho will still be subject to the abortion law that only includes an exception to prevent the death of the mother. The judge changed the ruling at the request of the state attorney general, who said the original decision was too broad. And finally, Alaska voters will have to decide which Dan Sullivan they want to send to the U.S. Senate, and will have an opportunity to vote for a federal inmate hoping to be elected to the House of Representatives, even though he is ineligible. On the ranked choice ballot, voters can choose among 4 candidates for Senate: Democrat Mary Peltola, Republican Dan Sullivan, the pro-life incumbent, Independent candidate Dan Sullivan, and Alaska Party candidate Earl Southworth. Skeptical Republicans believe the independent Sullivan is hoping to confuse voters and help pro-abortion Peltola win the election, and they are likely right. According to the Free Press, the non-incumbent Dan Sullivan donated to Democrats in the last 2 election cycles and has been working with a Democrat strategist for his campaign. The incumbent will be listed on the ballot as Dan S. Sullivan and the other guy as Daniel J. Sullivan Jr. If you're an Alaska voter, please choose carefully, as Alaska is an important battleground state in the effort to keep pro-life Republicans in control of the Senate. In the House race, Democrat Eric Hafner, serving time in a federal prison in New York for threatening police officers and judges, was among the candidates to make it on the ballot for the state's only House seat, even though he has no ties to Alaska and is not set to be released from prison until 2036. Our 49th state, which is larger than California, Texas, and Montana combined, is known for being home to some quirky folks. Eric Hafner, though, is not one of them. That's some of what's making news this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you have a delightful weekend and that you remember always that life is the only choice.
Hi, I'm Coach Joe Kennedy. Some of you might remember me from the movie Average Joe because of our court case that we had, Kennedy versus Bremerton School District. It was about a high school football coach who wanted to pray and give thanks after football games. It took 7 years and a lot of losses, but let me tell you, we couldn't have done it without our friends like Frank Pavone. I ask that you pray for him, guide him, direct him, support him, and love him. God bless all of you.